It was a Friday night and I was home alone. My parents were out of town for the weekend, leaving me in charge of the house. I was excited about having the place to myself. Just me, some snacks, and a horror movie marathon. By 9 p.m., it was pitch dark outside, and the wind howled through the trees, making the house creak in ways that put my nerves on edge. Around 10 p.m., I decided to make some popcorn. The kitchen was at the back of the house, with a window that faced our backyard. As I waited for the popcorn, I stared out into the darkness. The wind whipped the branches against the glass, making a rhythmic tapping sound. I told myself it was nothing, just the weather playing tricks on me. After all, the house was old and creaked all the time. With the popcorn ready, I returned to the living room, dimmed the lights, and started the next movie. It was a classic ghost story. Eerie music, sudden jumps, and all. I was engrossed in the movie when I heard something. A soft knock echoed from somewhere in the house. At first, I brushed it off as part of the film, but then I heard it again. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I muted the TV and listened closely. Silence. I tried to shake off the unease and pressed play, convincing myself it was just the house settling, but the feeling that something was wrong lingered. A few minutes later, I heard it again, this time louder, coming from the back door. My heart pounded in my chest as I turned the TV off completely and stood up, straining to listen. The house was dead silent. Curiosity got the better of me. I grabbed my phone and used the flashlight to navigate toward the kitchen. The back door was locked just as I had left it. I peered out the window into the backyard. It was empty, just the swaying trees and the shadows they cast. I was about to turn away when I heard it again, a knock right behind me. But it wasn't from the door. It was from the window. I spun around, shining my flashlight at the glass, but saw nothing but darkness. My breathing quickened. The knocks had been too deliberate to be random. I double-checked that all the doors were locked and hurried back to the living room, turning on every light on the way. I tried to watch the movie, but I couldn't focus. The quiet seemed louder now, and every creak of the house set my nerves on edge. Just when I was starting to calm down, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my neighbor, Mr. Thompson. He asked, "Is everything okay over there?" I replied, "Yeah, why?" He responded, "I saw someone by your back door a few minutes ago. I thought it was your parents, but they're away, aren't they?" My blood ran cold. I immediately called him and told him I was home alone. He offered to come over and check it out. I was grateful and told him I'd wait for him inside. Minutes later, I heard his knock on the front door, a firm, familiar sound that brought some relief. I let him in, and he stepped inside with a concerned look. "Let's check the backyard," he said, holding a flashlight. We made our way to the back door, both of us on edge. The yard was empty, just as I'd seen before, but something felt off. There was an unnatural stillness in the air. As Mr. Thompson scanned the area with his flashlight, the beam caught something on the window. 3 faint smudges, like handprints, smeared across the glass. They were small, almost childlike, but something about them was wrong. The smudges were distorted, as if someone had dragged their hand down the window in a hurry. My stomach dropped. Mr. Thompson and I exchanged a worried glance. "You should stay at our place tonight," he suggested quietly. I didn't argue. I grabbed my essentials, locked up the house, and followed him across the street. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those handprints, heard those quiet knocks. I kept imagining someone or something out there watching me through the dark. The next day I went back home with my parents, who were none the wiser. I didn't tell them everything. I didn't want them to think I was overreacting. But the image of those handprints and the sound of those knocks haunted me for days. Even now, I get uneasy thinking about it. What really scares me is that I'll never know who or what was out there that night. I haven't stayed home alone since.